It's Monday, let's all bake flapjacks together. So here's a list of ingredients you'll need, and starting off with butter. So 250 grams of butter, which is about 10 ounces, I believe, or a cup if you're North American. And then syrup, any syrup you want. If you're in the UK, you could use golden syrup, which is a little bit thicker. If you're in the Americas, you could use maple syrup, any syrup that takes your fancy, you can use. And that you're going to use as much of that as you want to utilise. You can use, I use around about 250 millilitres, but you can use as much as you can. Oatmeal, okay, flocon d'avoine, 500 grams, which is about 20 ounces, or 2 cups of oatmeal. And then raisins. So raisins, you want, again, I'm using 2 packets, so I'm using 500 grams, which is about 20 ounces, or 2 cups, again, if you're one of our American cousins. And then finally, after I've finished showing you the 2 packs of raisins, you can add a little bit of sugar. Don't need a great deal of this, to be honest, because there's enough sweetness in the syrup and the raisins. But that's around about 100 grams I would use of that, or to flavour, which is about 4 ounces, or a third of a cup. And then obviously you're going to need a pan to put your butter and syrup into to heat up. And then you're also going to need a couple of the utensils. You'll need a bowl for mixing your oatmeal and your raisins together, and then something to put in the oven. So yeah, I've got a glass dish. So first steps first. So you're going to open up your ingredients. You're going to, what I do normally is I mix the oatmeal with the raisins, just give them a bit of a turn. They're all nicely mixed up. You can use other stuff. In the past, I've used dates. I've used bits of chocolate. I've used figs. I've even used apple. So you can cut up little chunks of apple and put that in. It's whatever rocks your boat as far as your tasting desserts is. This is nice and easy for me. It's fairly quick, and it's the basic one. And you can mix and match however you want to as far as cooking your flapjacks are concerned. But these things are absolutely delicious when they're done, and very, very good for you. Gives you a real boost of energy, and there's nothing artificial being added to it. So there's very few ingredients as such. The white sugar you could change to brown sugar if that's your thing, or not put any sugar at all. Like I say, there's a lot of sweetness already with the syrup, and you can add slightly more syrup or slightly less syrup. Ideally, you want around about the same match of what I would say wet materials to the dry materials. So if you've got about 500 grams of oatmeal, you really want about 500 grams of liquid to help to absorb into the oatmeal. So then the butter's in a pan, and I'm just going to add syrup. I don't measure the syrup as such. I mean, it's got a measurement on it, and I use, I'm going to turn the sound off because I've got to turn the sound off on that. So I use as much as I feel like, normally about 2/3 of the jar that I buy. So there you go. If you're using golden syrup, which is a lot thicker, you probably just need a couple of big spoonfuls, would be more than enough, I'd imagine. The golden syrup's great because it sort of really bonds everything together. You can't get it in France. I suppose you can at some English stores, but I haven't seen any. And that syrup's quite nice anyway. You could use maple syrup, you can use whatever. Like I said, any syrup you want, doesn't really matter. And all you're going to do is you're going to heat it in a pan. Obviously be careful with heated sugar and heated, because it actually gets hotter than you think it would, if that makes sense. You've got to be very careful. You're not going to burn yourself. So there you go. I'm going to put the heat on full blast and then knock it down a little bit. And that's going to take a few minutes just to totally melt, and you every so often give it a bit of a mix. And while you're doing while you're waiting for that to heat up, there's other things you need. You can do. I'm using a glass dish to cook the flapjacks in, but I also tend to use parchment paper as well, just makes it easier for getting the stuff out of the that glass dish afterwards. It's just something I'm sort of used to doing now because I sort of taught myself how to cook, um, and I just find it's neater and tidier to use a bit of parchment paper. So here you are, bit of parchment paper, roughly to size, cut it down. Pair of scissors again. Be careful if your children are watching this. You want to be very careful using scissors. Then you're going to cut into, from each corner, you're going to cut into slightly roughly the way you think the corner of the dish is, because obviously what you want it to do is to fold in so that it's more neat within the dish rather than just putting it in where it's going to crease up. So if you cut into the four corners roughly, it doesn't have to be exact. And when you press it down, it's going to sort of form the shape of the dish. Right, so that's done. The butter is currently still melting with the syrup and the sugar. So we're going to give it a final sort of mix. It's almost there now. Again, like I said, this is very, very hot. So take your time with it. Be careful with it. Make sure it's properly mixed and the sugar's all mixed up as well. Like I say, that normally takes about 3 or 4 minutes, depending on how hot you're going to do it and what device you're going to use. Maybe a gas cooker might cook it slightly quicker. We use an induction plate to cook on, which is quite nice and neat and tidy. So that's just about done, and then it would be a question of obviously you're going to need to set the oven at some stage, preheat the oven so you're ready to rock and roll. The temperature I use is 160 degrees, which is Celsius, which is around, I think it's about, I don't know if that's about 320 Fahrenheit or gas mark 3/4. But you can always verify that. So setting the oven, like I say, I set it to around about 160. It's not like a cake that's going to be rising or anything. You really it's heating it nicely so that the oatmeal absorbs well the whole mixture, and the whole thing gets got slowly cooked through a period of time. Around about, normally I do between 40 and 45 minutes, which is more than enough. Put it in the middle of the oven. I don't know whether it's going to be fan assisted or not. I don't suppose it really matters a great deal for this. Like I say, it's not something that's rising. It's not a cake that's rising. It's just something that's going to cook through, and the oatmeal will absorb the butter and sugar and syrup, and you end up with a terrific dessert, terrific cake, gâteau. The French call it gâteau. Flapjack, an American that said the flapjacks are also considered to be pancakes. Obviously, for Europeans, particularly Brits, pancakes are an entirely different thing altogether. This is not a pancake. This is a flapjack. So like I say, it's oatmeal, raisins, syrup, butter. You could use margarine. I mean, depending on if that's your thing or not. But butter generally it's better taste to it. It mixes well with the ingredients. And I just prefer using butter to margarine these days, particularly living in France. It's a bit of a sin if you're using margarine in France, because you've got these wonderful ingredients on your doorstep. Lots of dairy products, which I believe are still very good for you, and lots of people think are not very good for you. We'd have to agree or disagree on that. So it's been given a good old mix round. Make sure there's no dry bits of oatmeal left. It's all well mixed up. It's all nicely turned, and it's all got the same sort of consistency. I mean, it's sounding like Gordon Ramsay giving it some on the cooking steaks. So I'm still suffering from the end of a bit of a cold. So hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. It's not too. I'm a little bit blocked up in the nose, but there you go. So everything's all mixed up now, and then it's going to be a question of adding it into the glass dish ready for the oven. So again, it's going to be still going to be hot at this stage, so be careful as you're putting it in. You're going to put it in, and what you're going to do is you're going to flatten it down. You're going to put a bit of pressure on it because you want it to be well bonded together, a bit like a sand and cement brick wall. You don't, if you leave it just loose like that, when it comes out, you're going to put it in after it's cooled sufficiently. You'll then put it into a fridge for a few hours. But if you didn't compact it down at this stage, when it goes into the oven and it cooks, when you start to cut it ready to make your individual portions, it'll all sort of fall apart. So the idea behind this is you pack it down a wee bit. I'm using sort of a wooden spatula there, just applying a little bit of pressure all over. You could do the same with a knife or one of these modern flexible spatulas. You just want to get little bit of pressure onto it so that it holds nice and firm. It'll cook right the way through. You'll then set into, like I said, when it's cooled, you'll then set it into the fridge and let it cool for another few hours, and then you can cut it. Or when it's sufficiently cooled, you could start to sort of pre-cut it if you want, and then put it in the fridge. And then once it comes out of the fridge, you can finish off the cutting. And here I am. I'm just adding the final bits because being a Scot, I don't like wastage. So every last bit is going in there. Every last drop. Right, so there you go. Pack it down, pack it down, pack it down. Make sure it's nice and solid. Get the last bits. Cut a little bit of that just so you can see it a bit better. But obviously this is a bit of excess parchment paper. And a nice shot of my forearm there. Sorry about that. And the reason I use parchment paper when I'm cooking with all the stuff is, particularly whatever I'm cooking, it just keeps the dish underneath it fairly clean, or makes it much easier to clean when it comes to the cleaning side of it. So I think that's fairly well compacted now. There you go. Yeah, it's looking good. And then it will be a question of getting it into the oven once I'm happy with the compaction. And also, once it goes into the oven, it gives me a chance to do other bits and pieces. Obviously, I've only got 2 days in Paris, so I do normally do the machine, do my laundry when I get home on the Saturday evening, and then it's normally dried by Monday, which is today, and I can then do the ironing while this thing's cooking. So there you go. I'm fairly regimented in my lifestyle. But then everything's taken care of and everything's nice and clean, ready for the following week when I'm going to be back in the Loir-et-Cher to continue practically at the end of the rear roof, and I'll be making a start on creating new trestles for the front roof and getting that going. And it'd be nice to see that. It'd be nice to do some cooking in the new house when we finally get around to it. Right, so there you go. That's fully compacted. It's ready to go. I'm now going to, with one hand on the camera and one hand on the dish, get it into the oven. There you go. All right, don't try this at home. All right, well up. In the center of the oven. Okay, doors closed. There you go. There it is. It's starting its cooking journey. And then I'm just going to put it on a timer to make it easier. Now, because I'm holding the camera, it's not as easy as it looks. So normally you want to cook it between 40-45 minutes. But here I'm just going to roughly get it to where I want it to get it to, because I normally do it by right hand and I'm faffing about with my left hand. So there you go. It's between the two, 40 and 45 minutes. It's more than enough for it to cook through, for the oatmeal to absorb all the stuff. And then there you go. That's the sound of the oven. Tell me it's ready. And there it is. Look at that. What a beast. What a beast of a gâteau. A beast of a cake. So you're going to put it in once it's cooled for about an hour or so, because obviously it's very, very hot at this stage. Come out, it's 160 degrees. Let it cool enough that you can then put it into the fridge again to let it cool further for a good few hours, and then it's ready for cutting and eating. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.